I just think to myself, like, yes, it's good. I enjoyed the taste of meat back in the day. There now is so many alternatives to replicate that flavor, and that's what I do on my YouTube channel. Often I'm replicating things that I used to enjoy and people I think would miss when they go vegan. But also, like, when you eat a steak or whatever, you enjoy it for 30 seconds when it's in your mouth, then it's gone. Like, did
Look
that
what you've
animal
done
need to
maybe
die
for
that just 30 seconds when you could get the exact same nutrients from plants that something didn't need to die? I never go into this sort of preachy kind of thing, but for me, it just makes sense. What podcast do you listen to, by the way?
I love like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I listened to Brian Rose for a bit. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Oh, yeah.
Like the London Reel.
I only watched his David Icke ones.
yeah. Were you into that sort of...
I just found it really... just.
Have you watched it back?
What's that?
Have you watched it back, like, recently?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Is it... Did some of the stuff say
yeah.
come true? Yeah. I mean, I just find it really just intriguing, really, just other people's perspectives on things. It's just a bit of entertainment, but yeah.
I was obsessed with watching them, to be honest with you. Like, I found myself in like a bit of a dark hole a couple of years ago, like just feeling shit about life and everything.
So I thought you meant you went on a dark hole on YouTube.
No. Well, sorry, yeah, and that. Yeah, so laughing at me. Sorry, mate. I do swear as well. That's not a problem. Like,
no. That's all good.
Yeah. So I just found like listening to people's perspectives and stuff, and seeing like you girls' crazy stories on the Joe Rogan video. I don't know if you've seen that Yeonmi Park or something like this.
I haven't seen that one.
That's crazy. She's just come like over from North Korea. She was like
I heard
stuck
him talking
over
about
Nate,
her, yeah.
You hear a story like that, and then you just think, all my problems are like minuscule. Do you know what I mean? What am I worrying about, basically?
Yeah, and definitely like so many people before us in life have gone through so many of the same things, and there's an answer to all of the stuff that we're going through because so many people have been through that prior to us, so we can learn so much from the past.
Yeah, and it's all like relative as well. So like, even if your problem's small compared to someone else's, like your problem, you still see it as like this massive thing no matter what, don't you? If you're kind of that way inclined.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we're the centre of our own universe, aren't we? So everything that affects us, we're gonna think is the biggest thing in the world.
That's what I found with the podcast. Kind of took me outside of that, and I could see other people's problems, and then I just, every time something starts going wrong, like with me or something, I'm just like, that's nothing. Just try and move forward. You know what I mean?
I guess that's one way of dealing with it. I think just being grateful for the little things in life is something that I've really started to do more, even if it's just like making a nice cup of tea, sipping it slowly and thinking, oh, that was beautiful. Like, that's what I've started doing more recently. Mate, sounds so strange.
I don't think it sounds strange at all, because I listen to your pod. Are you happy to just leave all the series rolling? So I listened to your podcast with them boys, right? And I could see like you've got this like side to you, like a spiritualist sort of side to you and everything. Like that thing, like the grateful thing. Like, I kind of do a bit of that where I'm like, I get like tasks which I used to think like annoy me sometimes, like say, I don't know, cleaning the kitchen or like the baby's up at night crying. Like, instead of being like, I have to do this, like, because you just say, I've got to do this. I get to do this. Sorry, not I got to do this. I get to do this, and you like change how it goes in your mind, because we're lucky, like we're blessed to have the things we've got.
Yeah, definitely.
And sometimes you look at it from another angle, and it just changes everything, doesn't it?
I mean, even now, like the stuff that I do day to day work wise, you know, maybe 4 years ago I would have dreamed of having those things, and now it becomes more of a chore and a bit more monotonous. But then I think to myself, wow, this is literally, I'm living my dream here. I'm cooking for a living still, and you know, it's great. So
yeah, mate. Well, I literally, just like you now in the position you're in, that was one of my questions. I was wondering, like, how do you keep motivated and keep going? Because it's got to be hard to keep. How do you get yourself in that like creative space?
I think actually just being creative is what keeps me going, because that's my outlet, and that's the thing I enjoy most. So whether that's like planning a YouTube video, to film in, to, you know, serving whatever I'm cooking for my crew, to seeing the reaction once the video is posted on YouTube, it's that whole creative process is what I enjoy the most. It's actually nowadays it's hard just finding the time to get that creative process done, because I've got so many different things coming from different angles, and you know, there's so many other things that I do now. it's difficult finding the time, but still that creative process is the best thing for me.
Yeah. I was wondering, like, how much time do you put into your YouTube a week? Because I know obviously you've got these other things. I'm sure you're getting requests left, right, and centre to do things like this as well.
Yeah, I guess don't have the best structure. I should work on that a little bit more. But I'll come up with an idea, just a title of a video. Nowadays, before I used to be like, right, my YouTube video is going to be like 4 meals that are going to help you in the evenings or something like that. But now I try and make more of a film. I want to make more of a documentary style video every time I upload. So I upload less now. I upload probably every 2 weeks. And I come up with a title. And that title then is something, you know, that is more creative. And I can really get stuck into it and create a film, because I've got an amazing production team with me, and now we just try and go all out.
Yeah. Well, I can see, mate, your videos, like, they're top quality.
Thank you.
I don't feel like there's a thing missed, and
cheers,
the way you put it over, I think it's great. Like, anyone who hasn't seen them, like, go over and check it out. Cause
it's been a work in progress.
Yeah, I bet. Well, it's like an art in it to get it down to that, I think.
I mean, even when I started filming, I'd never, you know, I'd been on camera once in my life. Well, a couple of times before going on camera. Was it 5 years ago when I started my YouTube? And the first day when I started filming, I just froze. I was so nervous. I didn't think I could ever do it, to be honest with you. Even after filming like my 6th or 7th video, I just couldn't. I was just so awkward.
Yeah.
I've actually started filming with my dad recently, because he's the person that got me into cooking, and he's vegan now himself, and he actually makes his own recipes. He's very good. But I was like, Dad, you should do a little YouTube channel. He said, okay, I'll give it a go. So we filmed with him, and he was so shy and just not himself. And it just reminded me of myself when I started. But you soon quickly get into it. And now now that I've got a team that I trust filming, it's just it's a joy to do it now.
Yeah.
I'm just cooking for my mates, and I'm just filming with them, and they're creative, and we're just coming up with these cool ideas. It's awesome.
Mate, it comes across really well as well. And you got to be chilled to do that, I think, as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
And creating the space and the right people around you's got to be like massive to go into that.
They're all my mates, to be honest with you. They're my best mates who I work with. And I wouldn't work with anyone else, to be honest.
Mate, that's quality. So at the start then, when you said like you get nervous on the camera and everything, where do them nerves come from, do you think?
I don't know, just I've never been one of those people that like sort of craved the limelight as such. I don't know where it came from. It was just so out of the ordinary, you know, just being filmed doing something. It just seemed so weird. I remember my friends were in a band, and whenever they'd have a music video, I'd go along, and then they'd put the camera towards me, and I'd just freeze. It would feel so weird. Just maybe just self-conscious. I don't know. But now it's fine. I'm all good.
Yeah. I found like the thing stopping me putting this out initially, because I had this idea for years, but just never kind of pulled the trigger on it, was like, you've always kind of got this, I did anyway, fear like whatever people are going to think. Like that first thing you do is like true. The judgment of like your peers and everything.
Yeah, it's your close friends that you think about, really, that what are they going to think?
Yeah.
And, you know, if they had anything bad to say about it, then they're not really close friends.
I agree, mate, yeah.
I was more, and I just didn't like the sound of my voice. I didn't like my mannerisms, especially when you watch yourself back, especially when you know you were nervous and you know that wasn't yourself. It just makes you feel less confident about it anyway. But the more I got into it, the more I relaxed, and here I am today. Now I want to do a bloody Netflix documentary or whatever. I want to try.
That'd be amazing, mate.
Do something much bigger, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've seen like I haven't watched it all, to be honest. I've gone back and like watched videos of yours and everything. Oh, yeah. I watched your first one to like sort of see where the journey started. Yeah, I did. Well, I thought like for day one that was good. Yeah. To be honest with you. Like,
well, to be honest, I've taken day ones down, so you're probably seeing like the 6th or 7th one.
Is it?
I mean, it's not bad, but compared to nowadays, it's
And then I seen like your journey of going around Wales. You know, that was amazing. I think you've. Like that sort of niche. You got such like a nice way about you, I think. You're just a chilled guy, and like just when you turned up here now from when we turned the cameras on, nothing's changed in my opinion. Like it's just coming across the same.
You've caught me on a day where I'm recovering from a busy weekend of surfing and running, so I'm very chill today. But even that documentary that we did around Wales, that was just something that was so spur of the moment, last minute, but it was great. But I don't know about yourself, you probably are the same, being creative, like you always want to improve, and you always think you can do better. So we were actually planning to go and film our first pilot of a sort of a Netflix show. So we would basically take that pilot to Netflix and say, look, this is what we can do. Can you sort of fund us to go and do a full series? And we were supposed to do it in September, and the first place was Jamaica.
Wow.
Obviously, COVID restrictions got in the way, but I'd planned that for so long, and it was off the back of that Welsh documentary, really knowing how much I could have done more and how much better it could have been. So yeah, always trying to improve, and these things will come down the line.
Yeah, mate, 100%. It's never ending as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's never ending, like what you could possibly do.
Yeah. Just what I enjoy as well, so might as well just keep going as I can.
Get on it, mate. Get on that. I think like if you put something like you did there to them, like I don't see them turn it down. Do you know what I mean? I think
I mean that was okay, but this what we have planned, and the way myself and the crew have improved as well, it's going to be way better. I'm so inspired by people like Anthony Bourdain. I don't know if you've seen his stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen his stuff, to be honest with you. I've heard of him. Like I heard Joe Rogan talk about him all the time, didn't he? He's like a massive fan.
Absolute legend, and it's stuff I've watched all my life really, or since I can remember, and I want to create something like that, but with a fresher, younger sort of look to it, which will happen.
Yeah,
it'll definitely happen.
Yeah. It's like you now. When you're creating it, you're looking for the faults, so how you can improve in it. Yeah. Whereas like me watching it, I'm just looking like at how good it is and stuff. So it's like a totally different angle. It's the same with me doing this. I get like some positive comments and stuff, and I'm like, I'm just listening to myself talk back, thinking, why the hell did I say that? Do you know what I mean? Whereas everyone else isn't like even going down that wavelength.
Yeah, we're very critical of ourselves, but just what I've learned now is just to be appreciative of our own journeys and see how far we've come. Like, because when you mentioned those early videos, and when I think back to it, as I said, I never ever thought I'd get 5,000 subscribers, let alone 1.3 million. It's crazy.
Mate, when you think about that, like I had a look earlier, it's like 1.35 million, and you can go and see how many views you got. I think it's something like 59 million or something.
I haven't even looked at that, but
I was just thinking, like, imagine like putting all them people somewhere and looking at them and thinking like all them people are there to see you. Like, that must be like a bit of a surreal feeling, is it?
Definitely. I mean, it doesn't feel real because it's a number on a screen. Until I do these events around the world, which has obviously all been put on hold since COVID. It feels more real then. But to be honest with you, I don't really look too much into how many people and all that stuff, as long as the content that I'm putting out I'm proud of, and also it's helping people, because that's why I do what I do. Like there is a purpose behind this content, and it's to help people. So as long as it's doing that, then I'm happy. Obviously the views are a major sort of driving force, but behind me actually being able to continue making the content, because if they've got no views, I wouldn't be able to do it. So we need to still try and appeal to the masses, but it's going okay right now. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. It's finding the divide of like not selling your soul for it, and doing something you love at the same time. Exactly. I just pushed that a bit closer. Sorry, mate. That's all right. They're a bit sensitive, these ones. A lot of mics you can go quite far away, but these are quite like.
Sorry, I should have my headphones on.
No, that's good, mate. I'll let you off.
It's because I still can't stand my voice.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I'm quite the same. Like, but I don't know if since I've put these on, I've got any louder or what. But I feel like I'm really loud. Really, definitely.
You're good.
Yeah. But mate, so you're doing all this YouTube stuff and everything, like comments and stuff. How do you deal? Do you ever get any negative? Because you do. Yeah,
I think YouTube's just that place now. I've developed such a thick skin now. I don't even look, to be honest with you. It's not nice because like there's some people with really thoughtful comments, and I do occasionally get a chance to go through them. But if I was to look through them, I just don't think it's that good for your mental health, really, because some people just, I don't know, maybe having a bad day and they feel like they need to post something negative. You can't say anything negative about a person just cooking nice food. Like, what is that?
No, I know.
I don't get it. Like,
I was wondering if you'd get much, because like it's not the type of thing. It's not controversial, is it?
Well, I mean, the whole vegan thing is kind of touchy to some people. I'm never one to preach and tell you must do this. I'm just giving you an option and showing you how good it can be and how it's changed my life. If you've got something negative to say about it, it just shows what type of person you are. So it used to get to me, but nowadays I'm over it. It's yeah.
I had a bit like on a couple I've done, and initially like it took me back because it was the first time I've ever had anything like that, and I was like, all right, okay. And then I tried to put myself in the shoes of the person doing it, and I think for me to have to go out and do that to someone, I'd have to be in a pretty bad place myself.
Yeah.
So I just looked at it from that angle and thought, actually, like, I feel sorry for this person in a way. Like, do you know what I mean? Not like trying to
I know what
patronize them or whatever, but just, you must be feeling pretty low to have to do something like that.
Yeah, I used to comment back to the rude ones and be quite cheeky back to them, because at the end of the day, I'm putting my heart and soul into this content, and this is my art, and this is everything that I've dreamt up and sort of worked hard with my team to put out there, and then someone's going to be cheeky about something minor. But no, I just don't care.
Yeah,
I honestly don't care. I appreciate the good ones, of course, and I guess I appreciate the bad ones too, because it all helps generate some more views.
Get the algorithm going, like, I like the way though you have a laugh with your crew and everything whilst doing it and everything, and also like you put your mistakes in as well, and like make fun out of yourself about it, because I think it's not just like perfection.
That's it.
All the way, is it? 'Cause that's just not how life is. Like, and I think you show that as well in your videos.
Yeah, well, when I first started filming in the early days with the first crew that I worked with, they would stop me and get me to sort of correct my excuse me. When something like that would happen, they correct me and tell me to do it again. And then by like the third take of me trying to do it, I'd look so sort of unnatural. So in the end, I was just like, boys, I'm just going with it. Like if I mess up, if I stutter, just leaving it in, or if I drop something, or if someone says something funny or whatever, we just leave it in, and it's just more authentic.
It's relatable as well, isn't it? People people don't want an image of something they can't obtain themselves today. So if you're putting something out that's like impossible for someone else to kind of do, it just doesn't resonate with them, does it?
No, of course. And yeah, as I said, we got this amazing team. They're all my mates, and they'll all have something funny to say, and we just leave it in if it happens naturally.
Yeah,
that's great.
Mate, I love that as well. Like I used to have like someone come in here as well, like who used to help me out with things and stuff, and every now and again he'd chip in, and like they were the best conversations. Do you know what I mean? But it's actually, it's finding the time at the minute to get someone in here as well. I'd like to do like I like how them boys have got it down the Central Club. They got a few of them in there, and they're kind of all chipping in, and it kind of.
One of my favourites is the Flagrant 2 podcast.
I love that, mate.
I love how like that sound guy will say something, and they're all involved, and it's
so for Andrew Schultz has got to be the funniest man.
He's one of my
on the planet at the minute.
Yeah, I reckon top 3 of my favourite comedians.
Yeah, I like watching comedians, but like it's weird because I don't really watch them actually do comedy, just purely like YouTube. Like, so I see their podcasts, like Tim Dillon, Andrew Schultz, Theo Von. I don't know if I think Theo Von is like,
I recognise the name.
Mate, he's hilarious. Like he's got a podcast with Brendan Schaub, the UFC fighter.
Oh yes, yeah. I know him.
Yeah,
I probably have come across it.
It's like such a dry humour to him. He's just hilarious.
We're living in this sort of PC world now, and I feel like no one feels like they can say anything. But then that type of podcasts and these comedians, they're not following the rules, and I like that, and I feel like more people should be like that.
Yeah,
they're not afraid to say what they're thinking.
They're saying what we're thinking as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
A lot of the time, and maybe like we can't say it. So, because you do like instantly, you're thinking like, if I say something, I don't want to, offend people and stuff. But like at the end of the day, I think like a lot of it has got to do with intent, isn't it?
Oh yeah, of course.
I think intent is massive. Like if you're actually going out to hurt someone, it's different. But if you're going out for a laugh, I feel like that's how they can get away with it.
Yeah,
and I think it's.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they're comedians, and comedians make jokes. And if you get offended by humour, then it's a shame, really.
I think the closer to the line it is, the funnier it is, really, isn't it? If it's
not,
dark
humour.
I'm exactly the same, mate. It's got to be somewhere near the line.
Dave Chappelle, who else is there? Ricky Gervais, like all these comedians. Dave Chappelle's my all-time favourite, and then Andrew Schultz, I'd say. I love comedy.
I haven't really seen Dave Chappelle. Only like
he's the greatest.
Because he kind of does like man. I know. Everyone says like, but I haven't really
just watched his Netflix stuff.
Yeah,
Sticks and Stones, I think, is my favourite one. I think it's called Sticks and Stones. Unbelievable. You're just in hysterics.
Because he's had a crazy journey, innit? Because he turned down, what was it, some crazy deal, wasn't it? I can't even remember.
I don't know the ins and outs of that story, but I think he like disappeared for a long time and then came back, and
yeah, he's just turning up at random parks when he was like a speaker and
that's
things.
It, yeah, just an absolute genius he is.
That just shows like he was doing it for the love of it, wasn't it? Not the money. If he can just turn down, I can't remember if it's something like 500 million. It was something,
it's like
something crazy.
Just didn't want to sell his soul to to these Hollywood guys. I think maybe I don't know.
I seen on the Central Club you were talking about moving over to America. Is that something you were thinking about?
I mean, I was. I mean, the world's changed and it's flipped upside down a little bit now. Whether I'll be able to travel again, who knows if any of us will be able to. So I'm just taking every day as it comes. I've moved now back to Wales from London, to the countryside. I'm absolutely loving life. It's probably the best decision I've ever done. Growing my own food is one of the most rewarding, fun, therapeutic things I've ever done. And I'm enjoying learning that process. Almost feel scared to leave my produce.
I bet.
It's like my babies. So we'll see. But before lockdown, the first lockdown, I was in conversations to open a restaurant over there. Obviously, pandemic hit, so that's been put on hold. But excuse me. But one day, maybe. I have my audience is bigger in America. It makes sense to be there, and I've fallen in love with places like Miami. Just maybe because of the sun and the beach and everything like that. I feel healthier there. I do like LA a lot, and I just love the fact that in America you can all within one country you have so many different climates, cultures,
more variety of life over there for sure.
It's just either a train ride, a short plane ride, and you're in almost, it feels like a different country, but you're still in America, so, or in the States, so it's cool. I mean, probably people from the US would think that we've got it similar in Europe because they think we just always jump on planes to go to France and stuff. But I mean, just like having to cross borders and things makes it a little bit more difficult than just being able to jump on a plane and next minute you're in Texas,
Yeah, it's also changed like since obviously Brexit and things like that. It's kind of probably going to make it a bit more difficult. I don't really know. I haven't really travelled, to be honest, this year.
Really? No, I haven't. Since
I haven't really pulled my finger out to even want to try it at the minute. I'm just kind of waiting.
It's taken all this sort of fun and sort of the, you go on holiday to relax, or you go away and you just want to have a stress-free, but all these tests, all this quarantine and all that stuff, it just seems to be more of a headache than anything. I'd rather just stay. And luckily, well, I think since leaving London and moving to where I am now, I feel like I'm on a constant retreat, I'm just in paradise.
Sometimes less is more though, mate, isn't it? Like sometimes
back to basics.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's what like I feel like it kind of resonates with our soul more, because that's what our life has been up until the last 100 years. There was no consumerism and capitalism and it's totally different. So to think that our makeup and what we connect with has changed in that time is crazy. Like these things are addictive, so they grab us and they're like flashy and stuff. But when we take it back, like I feel like going for a walk up the mountain some days is the last thing I want to do. But once I'm there, I love nothing more. And it's a weird thing. Like you can spend £100 going out for a nice meal, but it's not the same as doing something like that, like satisfaction wise.
I mean, for me, it was more just being in London felt so claustrophobic, no escape from the noise, the busyness, the traffic, the people, it's very intense constantly. And the way that the world has changed in the last sort of year or two, everything's been, everyone's emotions are heightened. There's always something to be sort of anxious about, and being in that London environment just made things feel like 10 times worse. I remember at the start of the pandemic, I was in my house stuck on my own for 50 days, on my own. And, I'm very fortunate that, I could still work from home, but it was still very intense, and, not having a garden to go out in or,
it's a test.
It was difficult. Really, I think I did go a little bit nuts, to be honest with you, looking back at some of my Instagram stories. But then moving to the countryside in Wales, it's not only cheaper. The cost of living is less living in Wales. So you know, it's achievable for people that live in London for sure, or in the city anywhere, and just so much more peaceful and great. Like I wake up in the morning, walk outside. Sometimes I don't even put clothes on. I'm just looking around, looking at my plant. It's beautiful. It's amazing. That's why I don't tell it. That's why I don't tell anyone where I live. So
you end up on the front of the sun or something, like, innit? Yeah,
it's great.
But I noticed, like, with my day job, the amount of people kind of, because I go around doing quotes for like new builds, developments and stuff. You see a lot of people from London moving down this way now, and the house prices are ramping up around here recently, because like you can get a flat or whatever in London, I don't know, for stupid crazy amount of money, and you can come down here and you can like get you know, a 4-bed, 5-bed, like really decent place with a bit of land, can't you?
With everyone working from home these days, it makes going to the office becoming redundant almost. So I mean, I don't blame them. I've done the same, and I recommend it to everyone. Just don't come live by me, because I want no neighbours.
That's the thing, innit? That's the thing. It's that happy medium in it for everyone.
Exactly. Hope they don't just start building like a huge development opposite my house. I'd be so sad.
Yeah, you got to watch it. Like I've lived here all my life, so I haven't really experienced anything outside of like Crick Owl then.
Yeah.
And but
it's beautiful. On the drive in, I thought I should take a little walk up the high street. It looks absolutely beautiful.
Some awesome spots. Literally 2 miles down the road from here. I think it's 20,000 or 30,000 person festival on the weekend.
Oh, what's it called again?
The Green Man.
Green Man. Yeah. Oh, this weekend.
That was this weekend, just gone. Yeah.
Really?
So there's probably quite a bit of traffic going out, I would imagine, when you were coming in. But
yeah, no, it seemed okay. If that's what you call traffic, then
it's probably a bit different around here. Isn't it? It's usually a couple of tractors or something. Yeah. It's totally different now. Like, but I see, like, you're into just to completely change things.
Yeah,
you're into your fitness and things. Yeah. You're boxing. Yeah. You're running. You said you're doing a marathon.
Doing London Marathon in October. I've just always been into sport all my life. You know, I dreamt of being a professional athlete, whether that was rugby or football. And I don't know if you played sport much growing up, but you don't lose that sort of desire to compete or to train. I'm glad it was sort of almost drilled into me as a young kid, because that sort of competitiveness and just the will to be fit and to be active is still inside me. So I like that a lot. But I'm still sad to this day that I'm not a professional athlete.
Yeah, really, something that's grinding at you, is it?
Yeah, because I've got like this, I've got a very strong willpower and mentality. So when it gets tough on a long run, I can dig in and keep going. I won't quit. Very ultra competitive, which can be a curse, but you know, if it's used in sport, then it's great. So that's why I decided to do the marathon. I don't know what challenge I'd like to do after. Yeah, but also just, you know, having this platform and promoting a healthy lifestyle and exercise, not only for your, your body's benefit, but your mind is so important, because it's helped me so many times through these dark places. I know when I've not trained and not done any exercise, my mind feels like just an absolute mess, you know, just clogged up. And I always say it's like a messy filing cabinet when I haven't trained, and then when I have trained, you know, everything's organized and neat in there.
Changes everything.
It's like a clean desk, you know. When you're working in a messy environment, you can't get things done. So I just try and, you know, even if I get one message saying, "Oh, this post about running has made me go for a run," I feel great. That means I'm doing something good. So yeah,
mate, it just changes everything, though. You know, like you can be having the worst day ever, and you go out and you do 4 or 5 miles, 10 miles, whatever you do. The second you're over, like, your day's completely changed.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I feel like anything that comes at you, then you got like a force field around you, and you're just like, I can deal with that easy. Definitely. That's easy. Whereas before you like stress. It's just like batting it away.
Yeah, doing it in the morning is the best time for me as well. Just starting the day properly. But anytime, just getting out is important. That was one thing that I put on my list of things when I was looking for a house. Was somewhere, you know, a spare room, a garage or something that I could turn into a little home gym. And we managed
to, mate.
Yeah, me and my dad managed to just turn the garage like you've done here almost into a gym. And that's been the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
So grateful for it. And it's, it didn't even cost much, because, you know, I got secondhand or used equipment, and me and my dad did it all. My dad's a legend. And it's been great.
Yeah, it looks good, mate. It looks good. I see you as well, like on some of your posts, you got the sugar loaf.
Yeah.
Like that's, well, literally not far from
I've
you.
only done it twice now.
It's awesome, mate. There's some really cool ways to get up there as well, which is... the
first time I went with Matt Pritchard, who does it all the time, so he took me up one way, and then I took my mates and I just went up a random way, which was harder. But I went with Matt at like 4:30 in the morning. God, I'd never been up at that time in my life, I don't think. But it was pitch black, but it was amazing. We got up there because you could see the sunrise, and I was like, wow, like this is what life's all about. I'm so lucky to live right by here.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then when I went up with my mates, it was just it was so cloudy up there, you couldn't see anything, but still had this different kind of energy, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing up there.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing it at that early again. It's a bit much.
Me and one of my mates used to go every Sunday, like for about 12 weeks we did it.
Amazing.
And mate, just like set your day off. We go at like 6 in the morning every Sunday religiously. Yeah. And you
can probably run up it too, right?
Yeah. The way we go is like kind of, do you know where Langeni is?
No.
No. So that's like in the middle. It's kind of in between here and Abergavenny.
Right.
And it works out, I think it's about 8 mile run in the end anyway, basically.
Wow.
But the first bit's really, really challenging, but then after that it kind of gets a bit easier and then challenging again. Yeah. There's a bit of walking involved for me, but you might be able to run it.
I don't know about that, but I mean, running actually for this marathon, I've never done a marathon before. Most I've run is 13 odd miles or 14 miles the other day, but I running round by me now in the countryside, it's all just hills, so I think hopefully it's gonna put me in good stead for the marathon, which is in London, which is mainly flat. But still, I was, I got this mindset where I think I can do pretty much anything. And when I first signed up to it, I was like, yeah, I could do it in my sleep. I could do this fine. I did 13 miles without training, it's fine. But now that the training's getting tough and I'm only 6 weeks out, I'm like, oh God, this is going to be hard. This is going to be so hard. I did 13 miles yesterday after a big day of surfing on Saturday. And I felt it in my legs. The legs were just gone.
What's like, because it makes a massive difference, I find. Like I do a bit of running. I did like a 50 miler this year with one of my mates. Yeah. And
50 miles?
50.
No stop?
50. Yeah. But like, don't be wrong, like I'm a big guy, as you can see. Yeah. It's all about pace, I think. So you're probably looking to set a good pace, I'd imagine.
Well, that's the thing. I said to myself, I'll do it in 3 hours.
Yeah, see, that's like, because no wonder you're in it.
That's it, because I did the half marathon in an hour and a half without training. I thought, right, if I'll just go for it. But now I understand that the more I'm learning, it's all about pacing yourself. And, if you're going to try and do that, you need to be, like, if you're going to try and do it in 3 hours, your half marathon needs to be in an hour, like you need to be, so you really need to pace yourself. So now my training, I'm changing up and just going to try and pace myself way more, because yesterday I didn't do that. And, by the 13th mile, my legs were gone.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what am I going to do on marathon day? So give me some tips, please.
Well, I kind of like always, I'm literally like a plodder. So I did a marathon like a month out from doing the 50.
Right.
But like it took me like 4.5 hours. So that's like slow going really if you're aiming for 3. But just constantly going at that pace, do you know what I mean? If I feel like towards the end then I've got some, I'll try and give some the last 4 or 5 miles, you know what I mean? But
that is smart, because I don't use my head like that, unfortunately. I'm just bam. My dad's on the bike often. My dad likes to cycle, so he'll have water in his bag for me. And sometimes I think to myself, I got to keep up with my dad on the bike. And the stupidest thing to think ever. I remember the first time I did it with my dad on his bike, and his mate was with him too. And I thought, I got to show my dad's mate that I'm good at running. So I was trying to keep up. And then by the 10th mile, my legs had gone. I stopped at the Blackwheel pub in Cardiff and begged them for a drink because I didn't have any money on me. But I think I'll do well. I think realistically 3.5 hours is
that's a good time though, isn't it?
Yeah, for a first one, I think that would be great for me, and just completing it in general.
Yeah. Mate, I enjoyed to see the result.
Yeah.
Do you follow Rhys Jenkins? Have you ever heard of him?
No.
He, like Matthew Pritchard would know him. I think he ran with him a little bit. He ran John O'Groats to Land's End.
Oh, is he
1,000 miles?
Ginger beard?
Yeah. He's coming today as well.
Oh, no way.
Later on.
Oh,
he lives in Crick, mate.
Damn, you should have
maybe I shouldn't be
saying
saying that
first. And then you could have told me what he was saying and tips and stuff like that.
Well, he's been in before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know him. Well, I say I know him quite well. He's been here before. When he came here, he was like living in Penarth, I think, in Cardiff. He was like, oh, it's lush around here. And then literally like a few months later, he moved down. Yeah.
No, that's what I feel like most people that come visit me feel the same sort of way. It's just so pleasant around here, isn't it?
It's chilled, isn't
it? The thing that I've started learning more about the running is fueling yourself right prior to it. So loads of carb loading, and then whilst you're running is something new that I've had to learn is eating whilst you're running. So yesterday I didn't have any of the gels or anything, but I had like loads of dried fruit in my pocket, which is annoying, but I don't think that's the right thing to have. So I've ordered some of these gels, and going to make sure that I'm eating lots of carbs the night before. Feel that then my legs will be okay, because it's like, by the 13th mile, I wasn't even out of breath. Like I wasn't even gasping for air. It was just my legs were just
it's grim,
it's fatigued.
Fuel often, fuel early, I think is the saying, isn't it? Right. So before you need it, I was reading like before you're supposed to take like a sip of water every sort of 5 minutes as well.
Okay.
Rather than like
down in it.
If I go out for like 6 to 10 miles, I won't take water sometimes.
Yeah, no,
I'll just run it.
Yeah, same.
But really, if you want to perform, like you should be taking it mile 1, mile 2. You know what I mean? Just like a sip of water. Yes. Whereas we just don't do. You kind of go out and then at the end you're knackered. But really, you wouldn't be anywhere near that state of fatigue if you'd probably just took that concept and applied it to every single run you went on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yes, I had to stop for a wee on the way, so like I was probably drinking too much. But I've been putting lime water and salt. Lime water and salt is good.
Salts, definitely massive. Like,
I need it's a proper science behind it. It's very unnatural for us to be running 26 miles. I think humans in general. So I took it too lightly earlier on when I said yes. I was like, I could do it in my sleep easy. I did 30 miles.
I think you could turn up, like if you can do 13 miles, I think you can turn up and do it.
Slowly.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, but if you're looking to set a time, then you got to be putting the training in early, innit? Like, it's a weird one. Like last year, like for 50 miles, I did really slow. It was like 13 hours this year or something.
That is just unbelievable to be able to do it and still be on your feet at the end of it.
It was.
I personally do not think I would be able to do 50 miles.
No, it's grim. Like I say run, like we walked probably like 3 or 4, like whilst fueling and stuff. We did stop a few times for rests and stretching and paracetamol.
Really?
Yeah. Mate, it got to the point, it was last year I was like 14 stone and I did it. It took me 13 and a half hours, no injuries. This year I was 16 stone.
Wait, so you've done it twice?
I've done it like for the last 3 years.
Absolute nuts, mate.
So I want to like my long-term goal. I need to lose the weight though. That's the key thing really, because weighing this weight and doing their miles is just.
Well, you think about your shock absorbers of your legs.
Yeah, I think it's about 100,000 steps or something. It was about that. So that compounding. About mile 10, I had a bad knee this time round and I had to like knee brace for the rest. So that's just just no good for you. But so I think I want to lose the weight and then ideally. Before like I call running a day, I'd like to get like 100 miles. Wow. Like that would be the end goal. Do you know what I mean?
You have to get on that plant-based diet then.
Probably, mate.
Lots of the long distance runners are on it.
Yeah.
And lots of the research that I've been doing, they all recommend a plant-based diet in the lead up to a long run, just because the complex carbs that you can get into, and just the whole food diet is so good for you. So yeah, try that.
Yeah, like I'm not a vegan, by the way. Like we haven't even really talked about being a vegan at all.
I don't talk about it much, to be honest.
Just general chats,
not the stereotypical "Hi, I'm vegan."
I kind of, to be honest with you, like keto sort of. That's what I'm aiming at now to try and like shift a bit of weight, but probably it's just lowering the calories, really, isn't it? Like at the end of the day, but I need to just live a healthier life because when I was smashing the training all the time, I could lose the weight, but I wasn't eating very well. And then when I stopped training, I've never stopped, but when I lower the intensity, then the weight would come back on.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to find that happy medium, or actually tracking it, I suppose, would be the key. But
throughout my sort of adult life, I've been various different weights depending on what I was doing training wise. When I worked in professional kitchens, I was like a ghost. I was like I was stick thin, so intense, that lifestyle. When I left the professional kitchens, I had more spare time, so I would be I was weight training. I wanted to start playing rugby again, so I was eating a 5,000 calorie diet, obviously not vegan at the time, put on all this weight. My natural weight is probably about 11.5 stone, but I got to about 14 stone then, and I thought I looked great at the time, but I definitely didn't. Looking back at the pictures, just too big. Then I went vegan, and all my lifestyle changed, and I started running my own business, and that on its own just consumed so much of your energy. So I lost track of my training. I just started working so much, so I sort of lost all those gains. And then when my lifestyle started, well, to be honest with you, when I sort of I had to get back into exercise just because my mental health was all over the place. So I started training, and then I'm now just at a comfortable weight. I do fluctuate depending on my training. Sometimes I'll just smash the gym, but now obviously I'm running loads, so I'm quite lean. But I just do what my body feels.
Just go with the flow with it.
I don't really I never look at the scales. I'm lucky I got fast metabolism, and obviously eating a vegan diet generally is lower calories.
Yeah, so lots of meats are fat, really, aren't they? And high in calories.
I'd say it's more it's not necessarily the meats. It's more the convenience of when you're not eating vegan. Literally, there may be a slice of pizza left over in the kitchen that family members left. Oh, you can eat that. Oh, there's a sandwich going. Oh, yeah, I can eat that. Like, there's so much there on offer. But when you're vegan, your diet's restricted slightly, so you can't just eat everything and everything.
Yeah.
So your calories go down. It's definitely easy to keep it up if you plan and you prep like I do. But
a lot of work involved in that.
Any diet. Yeah.
Last May, I was like 18.5 stone. I got down to like 14, and like that was purely just calorie counting. And you do just get in the rhythm of it, and everything becomes easy. But I've tried to sort of go with the flow more recently and just try to aim at more healthy things. But I'm just a pig, mate. To be honest with you, I just love eating crap. Yeah. But I'm just like I don't know what it is. Just like a
yeah, I mean,
I like to be honest with myself. Like,
I've been, many of my friends are the same. I've been there in the past, but everything I put in my mouth now, and I'm not like super strict, but everything that I put in my mouth now, I want it to be functional. It's called functional foods. So, if I've done a big workout, I know that after I need something that's going to replenish my muscles, or if I'm depleted from a run, I need some energy fueled food, some good quality carbs. So it's functional food. Everything that I put in my body, it needs to give me something. If I'm stuffing my face with sweets and chips, what is that going? It's not giving me anything. I want to thrive. So that's my mindset.
Yeah. No, I love that.
It's a strict mindset, but
I've kind of strict things. I've got more strict recently. I've been like following a plan. The plan is like sort of it's called like get feral eating, basically. So you're like kind of taking it back to like years ago when people would just eat like plants and animals, basically, and just kind of back to like the roots of like human living. So I don't know if you agree with that with the veganism, or if you see like that's how we used to eat years ago. But I find like massive like benefits in. It's probably just, to be honest with you, just from cutting the crap out, you feel the benefits, don't you? So I think like, but is it, there's a massive debate to be had of what's what. But I'm not. I just respect everyone's views on what they choose to eat and everything. I think
same. As I said, I'm not one to push things on anyone. I know what I'm doing for myself is the right thing for me. I personally think it could be the right thing for everyone too. And the people that have switched to a plant-based diet around me are all thriving and doing well. And, it's like when we live in this sort of technology advanced world, we're not cavemen anymore. We're sitting here, you've got these flashy buttons on your microphone set up here. We're on our phones constantly. We don't necessarily need to be like eating the meat that we used to eat, to be honest with you. We get everything at our fingertips from plants, and it is easy to do. And even if you don't agree with that, if you think that meat, we need meat, like, you just have to see what's in plants to realize that's not the case. You can literally get everything from plants. And then, or if you think that you just love meat so much and you love the taste of it, then I just think to myself, like, yes, it's good. I enjoyed the taste of meat back in the day. There now is so many alternatives to replicate that flavor. And that's what I do on my YouTube channel. Often I'm replicating things that I used to enjoy and people, I think, would miss when they go vegan. But also, like, when you eat a steak or whatever, you enjoy it for 30 seconds when it's in your mouth, then it's gone. Like, did that animal need to die for that just 30 seconds when you could get the exact same nutrients from plants that something didn't need to die? I never go into this sort of preachy kind of thing, but for me, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't need 30 seconds of satisfaction, or however long it takes me to eat a steak. I don't think it's worth something having to die, and the effect that, you know, all this animal agriculture has on the planet too, because it is destroying the planet at the same time. And that's something that many people don't know either. If you look into animal agriculture and the way we get animal products, it's quite shocking, to be honest with you. It took me just one YouTube video by an activist on YouTube called Gary Yourofsky. He just did a speech at a university. It made me go vegan overnight, having been the biggest meat eater, having worked in some of the best restaurants, butchering, prepping meat, cooking the finest of meats, fish, everything, and then go into this weight training sort of diet, eating pretty much only animal products, to vegan overnight because I watched this one video and almost had this awakening. It was like, flipping out, why didn't I know any of this sooner? Like, this makes complete sense. And then I backed it up. I did more research and realized what he said was actually like truth. And, you know, there's various different sort of lobbies and things going on to sort of promote animal products to make people think they're okay. You know, like, as growing up, we were always told like milk would make us strong or make our bones strong. And that's completely not the case. Like, if you look into it.
I'm actually intolerant to milk, like, and I think there's the majority of people, like, I think you've either got the enzyme in your body to digest it or you haven't.
Exactly. And I mean, like, if you think about it, you're allergic to eating or consuming the milk of another animal or a cow. It's so weird that we think that we, for so long, have drunk milk from a cow. It's so weird.
It's
no other animal does that. So when you get your head around that, I think dairy for me would be like, if I accidentally ate meat, I don't know if this would ever happen, but if someone served me chicken inside something and I ate it and I didn't realize, or if someone put milk in a milkshake and I drank it, I'd probably be more sad that I drank the milk, because that just would turn my stomach so much that the thought of drinking dairy makes me feel really sick.
Yeah.
So I know cheese is nice, but like, when you realize what it is enough to put me off.
I watched that Game Changers,
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like, I obviously didn't make the change, but at the time I was seriously considering it because it was definitely very impactful. And then I watched both the he went on Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah,
didn't he? I don't know if you've seen that.
I did, yeah.
And then the other guy come on and debunked him. And then they did the debate.
Yeah, and he smashed him.
He smashed him, yeah. And that was really eye opening, to be honest with you. And I also like get this weird feeling sometimes, because a lot of the time we like roll through life and we're not really thinking about what we're doing. We're just like unconsciously living.
Yeah.
And then when I really think about it and I see like things in a packet on a shelf, and then you really break it down what that actually is, it's just the reason this package like that is desensitizing you to actually what it is. Like, it's completely hiding what's happened to get it there.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I think about that, it does make me feel a certain way, you know, like.
So true.
And probably, you know, if I really consciously thought about it all the time, then maybe that's something that, you know, I may go down as well. And I think a lot of people probably would. Yeah,
definitely. I think that it's no one's fault that like we're so reliant on these products. I think society's made us think that we need them, has packaged them in a way that's so convenient to people to force feed them to us. Basically, 99p cheeseburger. All right, yeah, we'll take it. It's ridiculous. It's so crazy. And why? And there's so many health issues around the world because of consuming these products. And, you know, if only the powers that be served the population, healthy foods, and gave us more information on eating healthily, we'd be in such a better position in society. Such a shame, isn't it, really?
It is, mate. And sorry if I'm cutting
fine,
you off, but
fine.
like with this whole situation we're in currently with the
Yeah.
world, that's one of the things that kind of like gets at me is like through this whole pandemic and whatever, like one of the biggest comorbidities for people who've died is like overweight and all that. And it makes me sad to think that this isn't been something that they've tried to really pinpoint and
they
target.
closed the fucking gym, sorry to swear.
The mountain up the road, right? Like I told you, it was 200 meters from my house. They'd fenced off the pathway and put a sign up saying you can't go up here. It's like, it's on my doorstep.
Yeah.
It's a route of exercise that's probably going to combat.
Honestly, that made me so angry. And even when I posted on it, I used to be a bit more outspoken on social media, but now I just tend not to share any opinion on anything because someone's going to get upset and I can't be dealing with the stress of it. I just trying to keep my mind state chill. But anyway, like that made me so angry about them closing the gyms because, as you said, like the main type of person that's dying from COVID is the overweight person. And for me, not being able to exercise properly, and it's just the strain on the mental health was so difficult, and that's a big reason why I moved to the countryside, built my home little gym, started growing my own food. So I want to be self-sufficient. So if the government ever says to me, you can't do this, you can't do that, I've got it all on my doorstep. I'm very fortunate to be in that position. But I was so fuming at them. Even when they're offering this vaccine to people and they're saying, I saw something in the paper, they were offering like free fast food vouchers, or there was like kebabs for jabs. I'm just thinking, when are people going to learn the lesson? Like
to me, that just shows like, it's not all about health.
No.
Like, it's bullshit. Like, I'm not saying the whole thing's bullshit, but what I'm saying is, like, I just feel like the energy's been pointed in the wrong direction for a lot of things. And it's easy to say from the outside there's better ways to deal with it. But, I think I read somewhere there's like, last year there was 1 million people drinking so many units of alcohol a week, which is classed as an alcoholic. And this year there's 2.5 million. So you've gained 1.5 million alcoholics, who then, like, what impact has that got, like, on the ripple effect in the long term, And, like, mental health, I don't know, I haven't seen the statistics. You've got a job to find a lot of things at the minute, to be honest with you, if you go looking, like...
because they're trying to cover it up or something. It's crazy. I think there's such an industry in keeping people ill and keeping people sick, and it's always like, here's a pharmaceutical drug to solve that issue, not here's like a healthy lifestyle to combat it. They want to sell you this drug constantly. So it's the more we start doing our own research into a healthy lifestyle and creating our own worlds. Some people think I'm a bit crazy when I say this to my friends, but I'm trying to create my own world in my head, So these outside elements of the stresses of the COVID or these pandemics or these lockdowns or, all these issues that are going on around the world that realistically aren't in my control and I can't solve them. They're for the powers that be to sort out. But, we live in a world where we just look at our phones and we're consuming all this, all these triggering sort of things that put us in this state of anxiousness constantly. I've decided to sort of step away from it, create my own world in my mind. And I feel much happier and grateful for it, and try and enjoy life a bit. It's becoming more difficult to do with everything that as I said, but like me and my mates just going surfing or going up the mountain or doing exercise together or having food and just living for the day, and just enjoying it.
Definitely.
And, I think that we can so easily nowadays, and I've done it in the past, especially in lockdown, is just spend a day just looking on your phone, scrolling, or just looking online, and it's such a waste of time.
Doesn't make you feel good, does it?
No, it's not fulfilling at all. So, this has been sort of a hard time, but a good time to reset for me and for me to have this new perspective on life, and I feel more content than ever, actually. So I'm grateful.
Good, man. I'm glad.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, like, This is something I do, and I want to know if you do it, but do you like visual? So you're saying in your head, you're picturing this world that you're creating. Do you believe there's like elements of visualization that are like linked to like law of attraction and actually becoming real? Or do you think it's because you're putting energy into it, it's happening? Like,
yeah, I mean, I hear lots of people talking about that whole manifestation type of thing. I guess it does help people for sure. But for me, I don't really necessarily do that. I tend to just get things done. Obviously I have a small plan, and you could probably call that manifestation, but I will never sort of go over and over and over what I want, because you've got to roll with the punches in life, you know, excuse the boxing pun, but things, you know, like I could have been setting my sights so much on that restaurant in America before the pandemic, and I did, and I was thinking about it a lot on how it could work and how it would look like, etc. But then we're hit with the pandemic, so it's really difficult to sort of plan for me. I just try and ride this wave, and just be agile to life. And it's good to have a plan, but I don't plan too far ahead.
Yeah. Sure. That's good. Well, like I try and
very spur of the moment.
That's good as well. You've got to be able to like live in the moment and deal with the emotions as they arise, haven't you? Because otherwise you're just getting knocked off the path, like I say. But every morning I try to get up and do like a visualization, but it's like, what do I want to like look like, smell like, feel like, everything, like sensations and everything in like 5 years time.
Right.
And then I bring it back to like 3 years, 1 year, 6 months, a month. And it's not so much necessarily like I'm 100% going to be that person or where I want to be at that time, but it's more so I live like today with more intent.
Yeah.
Like getting closer to that. So like it may give me more drive. Like doing that 5-10 minutes in the morning will give me more drive today to possibly get there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I think, I mean, what I tend to do the night before most days is write my list for the next day. That really helps me. I know it's only something small, but that helps me get my things done, wake up with a purpose, get on with it. Because when you're self-employed, it's often quite hard to even motivate yourself to not have a lie-in. You know, I feel very guilty when I do that. So get my list done next day, then I know I can smash it. And everything's linked. Eating healthy, exercising makes you want to eat healthy. Eating healthy gives you the energy to conquer your tasks and gives you that positive outlook. You don't necessarily want to go out and get drunk with your friends and then be hungover for a weekend. You know, you want to just keep that sort of focus. So I love how everything's linked.
Yeah, it's definitely all is. Like, it's all about fine balance, isn't it? And
definitely,
when you hit flow state, like, you kind of know it, don't you? You know, like when everything is just like, it's like, feels like a bit euphoric, doesn't it? When you feel like, when you have a day which is just like, whoa, like it's weird, isn't it? When it comes about, like, it's amazing. So you talked about boxing, like rolling with the punches and stuff. You got like a big YouTube presence. There's like a lot of YouTubers going into boxing and things like that. Was that something you'd ever entertain?
I love boxing so much. I think I wish I got into it younger. You know, I did go to a few clubs when I was a kid, but my focus was rugby and football, or running or swimming or all the other things I did. But boxing was like the last thing, probably because my mum didn't want me to get punched really. But I feel like it teaches you so much. You know, it saves so many people's lives. I love hearing stories of boxers. Very inspiring, you know. Whether I would go in to do a YouTube boxing match, probably not, because I respect boxing and boxers so much and the sacrifices that they make, and I wouldn't necessarily want to be tied into that whole YouTube boxing thing. I have got to a point in life where I just don't give a shit what people think about me or say about me. However, I respect boxing and boxers too much. So if I was going to do it, I think time is past a little bit now. I'm not young anymore. So, well, I'm not old, just so you know that. I'm not.
You won't say that. You won't say how old he is.
I'm not 30 yet, but I mean, I would have liked to have given it a proper go. You know, I would have liked to, done amateurs, gone professional if I had the skill. So everyone thinks they're a good boxer when they're punching a bag.
Yeah,
so you get punched back, So I did a bit of sparring back in the day. But I just love it for the fitness, the cardio, the frustration that you get out, the technical side of it. I love watching boxers. You had Joe on. I played rugby with Joe growing up, and then seeing him doing what he's doing now is amazing. And he's one of the most skillful boxers out there. So watching him is great. And then I try and do that myself on the bag or whatever. Who knows? I probably will have like a white collar fight after the marathon. I'll do something in boxing for sure because I enjoy it. I may open a gym one day.
Oh, cool, man.
I'm just, I love sport.
He's amazing. Like, Joe's amazing. Like, do you see his most recent fight?
Yeah.
First round, crazy.
Yeah, I was gutted because I was going to go to that fight camp, but something came up last minute. But yeah, then Joe got added last minute, and he won in the first minute. So I guess I wouldn't have seen him that much. As
it would have been a flying visit, for sure. But
he's going to be the next Welsh world champion, which is going to be great.
Mate, it's crazy how much talent's in Wales. Like whether it's boxing, like UFC now, you got Jack Shaw.
And the Olympians, there 2 Welsh boxers.
Yeah, Lauren Price, she won gold, didn't she? I don't know about the other one, to be honest with you. Yeah.
It's amazing. Small country, we are punching above our weight a little bit.
I don't know if you're into the bare knuckle boxing at all. I don't know if you've watched any of that sort of thing.
I've maybe seen the old clip on YouTube. Wild, absolutely wild.
Yeah, a lot of world champions in that. I've had a few of them in here as well. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I had Welsh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's BKB. The weird thing is, right, you got like BKFC, which is in America.
Oh, there's so many different like
organizations. So you got the BKB in UK, which was kind of the biggest one, and then this one in America's kind of overtook it.
Right.
Sort of thing. So they got like ex-UFC fighters and all.
Okay.
But BKB in
I saw one when Paulie
Malignaggi, that's the US one that is. So they've kind of overtook the British one now, but the British one was leading it to start.
Okay.
As in, like, I don't know if you watch UFC, but they'd be like
occasionally,
like the BKB would be like the Bellator to them,
right.
As such, then.
Yeah.
So but I had Sean George, who's like ex-world champion in here the other day, like, and it's just the mindset on him is just crazy. Do you know what I mean? It's a war sport. That is
Oh man. I would just fear about my hands.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that would probably hold me back if I ever was a boxer who was my maybe weak hands. I don't know.
Yeah.
I broke my hand playing rugby or fractured it when I was a kid. I reckon that still caused me some issue.
Wrist, I find hitting the bag
that's
like
what
wrist.
It's my wrist.
Yeah. It's I find it's gone now though. I can
really? I think you do become you get stronger. You know, the little bones get stronger in there. Maybe the more impacts you take. You look at any boxer's hands. The knuckles are massive, and that's just from punching over time.
That's what Sean's hands are like. He's bare knuckle boxer. He's had, I think, 18 fights now, and he's never broke his hands once, which is crazy. Like most of them break them every fight, and it's crazy to me because I don't think the money's there to be, breaking your hands, turning up on a Saturday night, good break your hands.
And it's not only that; it's the money, but then that's just fight night, but it's that sacrifice that they make up into that night.
I don't think any of them at the minute are making a living. So it seems crazy to me to do something that can put you out for like 6 weeks of your job, maybe for like not a lot, but
then boxing can be a brutal sport. So when I say that I'd like to give it a little go, the white collar, it could be quite disrespectful, to boxing. I don't want to be like that. I've just mainly for me, it's like that mindset that I told you about earlier. I have this drive inside me, and like I would, when I lived in London, I would go and train with a friend of mine who's a professional boxer, Harlem Eubank.
Right.
And every Saturday morning, or most Saturdays, they run up this hill called what's it called? It's in Surrey. Can't remember what it's called now. But anyway, 500 meter long hill, pretty much like vertical like that, and do it 6 times. And I would meet them there before at sunrise every Saturday morning. I was jogging, not every Saturday, I did it a handful of times.
They'd be watching this like, he's lying.
No, I did it a handful of times. But basically, I did it more on my own because I didn't want to get up as early as them, because they were going there for like 6 a.m. and it was an hour drive from me. But on the way down, this one time, the first time I went, one of the boxers, this girl, she said to me, "Oh, so do you box then?" I was like, "No, I just wanted to come along." She said, no, she said, why are you here then? I said, oh, I just wanted to come along. She said, you're nuts. I just have this crazy mindset. I just want to push myself to the limit. And I wish I had a sport to put it into. I guess it helps me in my job.
Definitely, yeah.
I guess it does help.
I respect it, mate. Like, I respect that sort of competitiveness.
Well, you obviously have the same thing if you can just do 50-mile runs every year. So
I get like I find like I work in like loops of like motivation.
Yeah.
So like when I'm really in the zone and flowing and eating right and everything, I'm like totally zoned in, and I genuinely believe like I can do anything. It's crazy. Yeah. Like I can get myself into that space. Like you were saying earlier, but I'm not there all the time. Yeah. So like I got this weird like split personality then, where I can be like a down depressive, or I can be like
really
king of the world in my head. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's mad, but
I think that's it just comes with your structure in your week and your day properly, doesn't it? If you, as I said, if you start your week right, eating right, exercising right, you're gonna be in a positive mindset. Yeah, that's what happens with me anyway.
I've like I never believed in it before, right? But I've started working with a coach like 10 weeks ago, and it's just like a weekly call.
Okay.
And ever since then, I'll be honest, like I'm saying this because it hasn't been a long-term thing, so I don't want to like say I've turned my life around, I've changed everything. But in the last 8 weeks, I haven't been in a loop at all. I've really been in control of everything I'm doing. Every day, I like I said, I do the visualization, and then I write down what I'm doing like for every couple of hours of the day with intent. And like you say, I've got a list as well. Yeah. And that has changed everything completely. I'm not in the loop. I'm consistently going after things. Do you know what I mean?
And being, as we said earlier on, being grateful for the little things. And, you know, so much, people put so much pressure on themselves to be successful, and they're not appreciating those little things. And I did that for a long while in this sort of new journey that I'm on YouTube and all that stuff. But when I just appreciate the tiny little things throughout my day, it makes things so much better. Yeah. And like you just said, you got married and you've got a kid now. Like that to me is success. I'm thinking, wow, that's unbelievable. And so people value and have levels of success in different, you know, tiers, different areas, different areas. So we just got to be grateful and appreciative.
Definitely, mate.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, we can all like, it's easy to look at what someone else has got, and you know, like you're looking at me like that, and I'm trying to build a platform, and then maybe you're looking at like you want to build a family, like so it's kind of like contrasting like what we put our energy into, I suppose, isn't it? And
yeah, for sure. No, it's beautiful. I would like to have a kid one day soon, maybe.
Yeah. Have you got a partner or anything?
Not at the moment. No, I moved to the countryside, and I've just been enjoying being on my own, to be honest with you. It's great. It's the first time in my life I've been properly content. I've had I had a long-term girlfriend who I broke up with a few years back, I shouldn't say it like that. We broke up a few years back, and you know, for a long time I wasn't happy with myself, and I was longing for her and longing for a relationship to sort of replace it. But when you're not happy in yourself, that's the worst time to find a relationship. You got to be strong. You got to be in control of everything, and then someone will come along, hopefully with that same sort of structure in their life, and then you'll form something good. That's my mindset now anyway. But it's difficult holding down a relationship in the sort of industry and the career path that I've chosen, you know. It's, especially being self-employed is difficult too, you know. For a long time I prioritized work and, you know, being strict, you know, very like an athlete with my work. You know, I'd make sure I get good night's sleep, make sure I'm up at this time, doing this, working throughout the day, grafting hard. And, you know, sometimes your partner, my ex at the time, wanted more attention, and I couldn't give that. And it's difficult, but nowadays I feel a bit more in control, so everything's cool.
I feel that though. I feel that like doing this, you know, it's a balance.
Yeah.
Like I can completely like sympathize with you in a way, they empathize with you, because you kind of like, you're obviously looking at your goals and everything and the work you're doing and things, and you're thinking like, if I don't do this I can't get that, and whatever, however it works. But it's you know, it's like with a relationship, it is just give and take at the end of the day, innit? And I think you've got to either find someone who's like on your journey with you and you're on their journey with them, or like it kind of doesn't work. I think it's like right timing with the right person as well. It's not just like the right person. I think it's easy to have the right person maybe, but like if your timing's not right, or different place in your life. If I found my missus, like we've been together like 4 or 5 years now. I don't even know how bad's that. But like if I found her like 10 years ago, we would never have been together. Do you know what I mean? Because I was a totally different person then. And I found her when I was in a good space. She was in a good space in her life. I'd already got a house. She'd already got a good job and things, and we were both like kind of ready to settle. Not like settle as in like settling for each other, but as in like we were settled in our lives, and definitely. It wasn't like hectic. We weren't going out every weekend. We weren't trying to find what we wanted to do. And
that's exactly what I was saying. I've got to that point now.
Yeah,
because it's been a whirlwind, this journey. I wasn't in control of my life. I wasn't in control of myself for a long time because, I mean, that's sort of the reset I needed. Maybe thanks to, okay, can't say thanks to it, but the lockdowns and everything, I reset a little bit. But prior to is it 1.5 years, 2 years ago? I was traveling all over the world. I would land in a certain place, and then 2 seconds later, I'd like literally 2 hours later, I'd be still in the airport and fly somewhere else. It was amazing, don't get me wrong, but there's no way to have structure. There's no way to eat healthy, exercise properly when you're doing that. I had the most incredible time, don't get me wrong, and fill my sort of mind with loads of amazing memories, but it's not a lifestyle that you can keep for a long time. I can't wait to travel and do all that again, but this time now, potentially I'll space it out a little bit better,
structured more. Do you think?
Structured more, because it was really intense. It was like everything that I'm doing now. I got loads of little bits and bobs coming at me. Collaborations, campaigns, my YouTube, running Instagrams, all this stuff on my website. But then also having to be here to do a live cooking show, having to fly there to do this. It was amazing, but it's a lot.
Intense, I bet.
Definitely hard to keep a relationship.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, mate. Because you can't have a relationship if you haven't got time for it either, can you? It's one of them things. Like I was working 2 jobs up until the lockdown.
Wow.
Like I had my own business on the side, like working on like wood burners and things, as well as like what I was doing. And I only started that. We were together when I started that, but then it kind of took over to the point I was working 4 nights a week and every Saturday. Then on a Sunday, I'd be doing paperwork, and I had more money than I'd ever had in my life. Yeah. But then when the lockdown hit, I had time off, and I just like had all this time to really like look at my life. And I was thinking, our relationship is falling apart because of what I'm doing for money, which I'm then either using to try and make our relationship better. Like, let's go away for a weekend, or let's do this, let's do that. And all that was just bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. And that was kind of the realization I had when sometimes you need everything to stop to actually be able to pinpoint things. When you're like inside of it, you can't even see or analyze it, can you? You need to take yourself out of it sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I regret in the early days of doing what I'm doing to like, and not, spending an extra hour in bed, or like taking a day off here or there, or doing something for me and my partner. But I guess if I didn't do all those things, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So, it's what it is.
Well, mate, someone will come along, man.
Yeah. I'm not short for options. I'm not being big-headed, but I mean, it's not. It's difficult to find a guy that loves cooking. Yeah. And I'm not being big-headed. I promise. It's the vegan scene. There's not many vegan men either. So yeah. Is what it is.
Yeah, mate, you would have loved that festival on the weekend. Like, I bet there would be a ton of vegans there. Like, it's that sort of vibe, I think. Yeah. You would have. You should have gone down there, like
taking my tent.
You would have come in here today with like some wellies on and a straw hat. But yeah, you are. Well, have you got anything you want to say before we go?
If I got anything to say, not really. No, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming, mate.
Keep going at it. I think that it's amazing to see someone, from, you don't see people from a small town in Wales trying to do something that you're trying to do. And if you keep going at it, you never know where it'll take you. I never thought I would get 5,000 subscribers, let alone 1.3 million. So it can happen, you know.
Yeah.
Just choose the guests wisely, and keep networking, keep the content high, and post regularly. And I think the answers that the questions and the conversations that you have are great. So
cheers, mate. Appreciate
keep
that.
it going.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you very much for coming,
No worries,
mate. I
man.
do really appreciate it.
No
You're
worries.
a busy man, and thank you.
So good.
We'll,
thank you.
Maybe catch up again in
Up Sugarloaf.
some time. Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. Nice
Thank
one.
you. No worries.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
Experience Real Podcast.